Right now.
Out of the big time fighters now?
Yeah.
Pacquiao looks sensational his last fight. I said there's nobody in boxing or fighting that looks sensational.
Sensational.
After witnessing Manny Pacquiao dominate in training, Mike Tyson has joined the group of people who think he still has. There was still something genuine in him. Viewing footage from Pacquiao's most recent workouts, Tyson didn't sound like he was trying to flatter a fellow legend or get caught up in nostalgia. His analysis was direct, concise, and unexpected. Tyson remarked, "He's still fast, and he looks like the same guy who fought years ago. It's bizarre."
He's a big, strong, he's young, he's 30. You have 16 years on him, man.
Don't worry about it.
You know, Manny, for a lot of people, you are the greatest fighter in history, the only champion in 4 different decades. When you beat Barrios, what does that say?
Oh, it's a big thing for me.
And congratulations, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, June. How are you, madam? Thank you.
That kind of statement from Tyson involves more than simply appreciation. Tyson knows how aging alters a boxer because he has experienced it himself. He has returned from extended layoffs and has noticed changes in the body's reaction. He isn't talking carelessly when he adds, "Pacquiao looks dangerous again." He isn't hitting like an old man. Tyson went on to say, "I think he shocks the world with his speed, movement, and power. People don't realize how dangerous that is."
He's coming back.
Yeah, thank you.
For the WBC title at 147.
Thank you.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely.
That's a Mexican
Manny
guy. Quadra.
Pacquiao's
Oscar needs
he's a legend, you know.
some nice ones. Thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it.
Pacquiao is 46. He's returning to a genuine battle, not an exhibition matchup with 30-year-old Mario Barrios, the current WBC interim welterweight champion. Barrios didn't take home the championship, but he's younger, fresher, and bigger. Most people would think that gives him the advantage, but Tyson and a few other seasoned names have a different perspective. He's not returning for a good time. Tyson said, "That man aspires to triumph once more. Vanity is not making a comeback." Pacquiao has consistently stated that he would only fight once more if he was capable of competing at the greatest level. The choice to battle Barrios, rather than a YouTuber or a retired name, demonstrates intent. It implies that Pacquiao perceives something in Barrios that he can take advantage of. Tyson isn't the only one with that notion.
The exhibition he had with Akpo. Why do you think they're making a lot of it? They say he didn't look good.
That is a real exhibition for Manny in the last year. But this coming fight on July 19, this is a real fight. Yeah, this is a big fight.
So they're gonna see a different Manny.
Yeah. I promise, as a head coach, of course, all the team captains can work together with that. All the people, they have a comment that, you know, Manny is 46 years old, but I show you.
You know, Manny, people love.
Former two-weight world champion and current analyst Paulie Malignaggi was blunt in his analysis. "Sincerely, I believe Pacquiao can win this battle," he stated, adding that Barrios is the weakest member of the welterweight division's title holders. Malini thinks Barrios might be defeated even by a weakened Pacquiao. He acknowledged that it's a risk, but if he's fit and sharp, he can defeat this type of opponent. He quickly clarified that he doesn't believe Pacquiao is as good as he previously was, but even 70 or 80% of that fighter might be sufficient in this situation. Now, he emphasized, it's about timing and legs. Manny beats this guy if he can pull the trigger, and his legs are still functional.
100% disrespectful. This is a clown fight. This is a more clown fight than the Jake Paul Mike Tyson. This is an outrage. People should be up in arms about this fight. This is so disrespectful. Barrios lose this fight, he should quit boxing. You let Manny Pacquiao, an old dude who stopped boxing, and then you're his first fight back? You are disrespectful as
The fact that Pacquiao is taking this return seriously adds interest to it. The version of him who blasted through an exhibition with DKU in 2022 is not this one. That one appeared to be a politician remaining active, but this one appears to be a fighter on a mission. It was confirmed by his reunion with longtime trainer Freddie Roach at Wildcard Gym. Manny looks great, his speed is still there, and his footwork is sharp, said Roach, who has watched every iteration of Pacquiao since the early 2000s. The signals are all positive, but we're taking things day by day.
There's Mario Barrios. Okay, if this was for a massive bag, I get it. But you're fighting for a non-pay-per-view event, so you're going to be fighting for free against a guy like Manny Pacquiao. Why? There are plenty of other fights to be making. But yet we're getting Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Is Manny Pacquiao even ready to fight in the ring? Why is he... I get he still loves the sport, but listen. You are an all-time great and legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return? Why not just go pursue other things? If anything, do the little cheap expedition fights that you did last year, or those...
Chris Algieri, who lost to Pacquiao 6 times during their 2014 fight, was also taken aback. It doesn't appear to be an exhibition. This looks like the guy I battled, according to Manny Algieri. The speed and balance are there. I've always said that Manny is the best fighter I've ever been in the ring with. He's not just quick, he's smart, he sets traps, and he controls space. Algieri wasn't just saying this to get attention. He's seen what a fully prepared Pacquiao feels like in the ring. And what he's watching now reminds him of that.
You do this head boxing like the what is that for? Because you can apply that habit. You become a habit. When you start boxing like
Speed is still there. Woo!
Algieri and Malagini's main argument is that Barrios might not be a fighter capable of taking on an active, technically sound Pacquiao. Barrios still battled against Keith Thurman and was dropped by Gervonta Davis. Barrios is susceptible after his somewhat lackluster effort in winning the WBC interim crown. Malignaggi claimed that he makes mistakes and is hit clean. And Manny's the last person you want to make a mistake against Juan Manuel Marquez, who faced Pacquiao 4 times before knocking him out in their final fight, took a more cautious approach. Marquez stated, "Pacquiao has nothing left to prove. However, I can see why he wishes to return. Combatants are combatants. He has every right to try if it makes him feel good." Barrio is performing the
Barrios doing the everything but unifying with boots. Hey man, let me tell you, Barrios has always been the biggest fight, and now if he fights and beats Pacquiao, he's the bigger fight, you know? And I told y'all, I'm not gonna let y'all forget, I told y'all that I was told Barrios would be the last piece. He'd be the last piece, you know? He's gonna wait, just like Plant did, Barrios will. They already offered Barrios an offer to fight Norman, he turned it down. They said they was busy, and obviously they was. Look, the Pacquiao news broke. So Barrios will be the last piece. They're gonna sell that belt to Boots and Eddie.
That opinion is in line with what many retiring champions feel. If the hunger is, actually, it never truly goes away. However, Mark has included a more technical caution. It has to do with reflexes. You can look fantastic on MITs and train for months. However, does your body respond the same way it did to when punches start flying? For Marquez, it doesn't matter if Pacquiao looks terrific right now. Whether he survives 6 rounds is the question. Manny must take charge of the altercation first. He must get Barrios to think. If he is pushed back, it will be challenging. Algieri's remarks regarding the rhythm are echoed in that point. Manny has been a rhythm fighter all his life. Barrios will have a long night if he can find that rhythm in the opening 2 rounds.
Really, there's the thoughts. Absolute joke. I love Manny Pacquiao. Love everything about him. An all-time great in terms of what he's done previous, but that doesn't entitle you to just walk back in after 6 years and get a number 4 ranking with the WBC and fight for a world title. What about all the other guys that are waiting around? It's wrong. We seen Manny Pacquiao fight an exhibition against a kickboxer in the last fight, and kickboxers can't box, right? I've seen world champion kickboxers coming and sparring box.
Pacquiao's refusal to rely on size is one of the reasons he is still dangerous. He was undersized during his entire career. If they're still 80% intact, as Malignaggi stated, that's still a serious threat to a fighter like Barrios, who lacks the footwork and reflexes of a top-tier welterweight Ricky Hatton, who was famously knocked out by Pacquiao in 2009. He used speed angles and constant motion to fight and beat bigger men. Those are things that fade with age, but they don't disappear overnight. I love Manny. But what's he doing getting a title shot after all this time? Hatton asked. I really do. Hatton's problem was not Pacquiao's skill, but rather the sport's readiness to assign ranks according on name value. It simply isn't logical. Although it makes for excellent headlines, what does it say about the sport? Such pushback is typical, particularly in a time when sanctioning organizations frequently evade the law in favor of well-known individuals.
I mean, it just sort of like sums up the way boxing's going these days. WBC, I think, is for so many years has been known as the most respected out there. You know, the famous green belt. You know, but boxing just seems to turn a corner. You know, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming back, not just coming back after years of retirement, straight into the top 10 of the world rankings and fighting for the most prestigious belt of the WBC.
Still, Hatton was unable to downplay Pacquiao's skill. He has it. I'm just concerned about his body because it's been a while, and he's 46, not 36. The boxing landscape in 2025 is different, and that's where the fight becomes interesting. Not because Pacquiao is attempting to go back in time, but rather because he's attempting to see how much he really has left on his terms in a real fight against a young opponent who has something to lose. Tyson, who is getting ready to battle Jake Paul, is aware of the change. Now, he added, this sport is different. However, if I'm fighting, I'm 58, he's 46, and people are watching Manny fight, but we can still accomplish this. That change is about control, not just age. Older fighters are taking charge of their own lives and deciding how they want to live.
Out of nowhere, the WBC decides they want their welterweight champion, Mario Barrios, to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. About 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But man, he's been retired for 4 years. He's 46 years old. His last fight was in 2021, and he lost to Ugas in a unanimous decision. I watched his exhibition bout against the kickboxer guy in Japan. And again, I think people will look at this and go, well, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, and yeah, that happened. And I also said that Mike was going to get really badly hurt, and it was a terrible idea for him to do that.
Pacquiao does not intend to use this fight to develop a comeback run. One battle, one title, one obstacle. Although defeating Barrios doesn't turn him into a pound-for-pound superstar once more, it does send a message. It demonstrates that he left on top and is now deciding to return rather than leaving because he had to. There is always a danger, but if those who have witnessed him up close are correct, Barrios may be getting into more trouble than he anticipated. Tyson stated it plainly, and he still understood. Take a look at what?
You're the boxing guy.
Damn, why? I just want to know why. Why? Dog, you must be, the money must be funny. And this time, you know, you want to come back and you fight this young kid, and this kid back.
12. Teddy Atlas isn't one to mince words. He draws on years of witnessing firsthand what occurs when fighters push past the point at which they ought to have stopped when discussing a fighter's future. The trainer who was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame was open about his worries about Manny Pacquiao on his podcast, The Fight with Teddy Atlas. Atlas stated, I don't want to stop anyone from making a living or making money, but I'm very concerned with a guy, a great man who's helped his people, who's fought for his people, who's lifted his people up, who's given away money to his people. He has seen too much to act as though everything will be fine just because Pacquiao is a legend. However, he donated funds to his people, who are now in a position where he must fight at age 46 and after 72 battles.
today and Twitter. He says, end quote, "I'm back," end quote. He also wrote on social media, he's added, "Let's make history," end quote. Now, Pacquiao, we're going to talk about his training a little bit, all the critical howl from the public about him coming back, and also what Roach, his trainer, might have to say. Pacquiao, guys, will break his own record as the oldest welterweight champ ever if he does pull it off.
Atlas doesn't question Pacquiao's legacy, or will since he is aware of his actions both inside and outside the ring. That isn't the issue. For him, the issue is how time affects a fighter, and how cruel the sport is when a fighter like Pacquiao decides to refight in actual circumstances. He observed the signals during the battle against Yordanis Ugas in 2021. Pacquiao appeared more hesitant and sluggish, unable to keep up for the entire 12 rounds. Even though it was meant to be light work, Pacquiao didn't move like he used. 2, and Atlas saw the writing on the wall when the exhibition versus Rukia Ano in 2024 rolled around.
So why is Mario Barrios fighting a 50-year-old and not Jerome Boots Ennis? See, this is the problem with boxing. Y'all over here fighting retired fighters and over the hill as washed-up fighters. Where are the 50-50 fights?
You seem to be playing with fire, in my opinion. That's all I think, he said. You could walk around and navigate a little bit, say this and that, but eventually everything comes to a point where you can't fool yourself. He's in a room with 72 fights, and no matter how much you change the furniture around, you still know what room you're in. In 2019, Pacquiao defeated Keith Thurman in his final actual victory, which was another high point in a career full of them. It demonstrated that Pacquiao could continue to compete at a high level even after turning 40, but that was almost 5 years ago.
Are you cool with Pacquiao against Mario Barrios?
I am. I'm cool with it. If I was cool with Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting Keith Thurman, I'm definitely going to be cool with this one. Barrios is not a puncher. Thurman was a one-time, one of the biggest punchers in boxing. I think he's going to be just fine with Mario Barrios, who we know what he is on the top level. He comes up short. He's been stopped by fighters that are less than Manny Pacquiao and Davis.
He hasn't engaged in a sanctioned fight since. The current return is a direct leap back into a world championship situation. Atlas acknowledges that few fighters have earned the right to bypass the queue more than Pacquiao, but it doesn't negate the risks. Atlas doesn't dispute that Pacquiao deserves a chance based on his resume. It doesn't make aging go more slowly. It doesn't reverse 2 decades worth of 72 professional fights.
But footage, guys, footage from the gym shows he has still speed. The old man's in shape. That's never been really the issue. He's never let himself really go, guys. He's still lean, still fast on camera, at least.
Not everyone sees it in the same light. Some still believe Pacquiao has tools to beat a younger fighter like Mario Barrios. In the May 21st installment of the Porterway podcast, former 2-time world champion Sean Porter outlined his exact expectations for Pacquiao. Porter addressed the topic of how aging impacts a fighter's rhythm and tempo from a technical perspective. A boxer's quickness decreases with increasing age. Mentally, you are not aware of it. Simply put, your timing slows down. At that point, Porter expressed his opinion that Pacquiao shouldn't pace himself or attempt to prolong the fight. He thinks Pacquiao should use up his limited petrol tank as soon as possible. 46 years of age. At 46 years old, you come out and, let's just assume, your petrol tank is half full. I would much prefer get off on this kid and use that half tank in 2 or 3 rounds.
I don't know. I keep laughing about that fight. I don't know. I don't know if they exist. I don't know where the money would come from.
Who's playing the Pacquiao tax?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. All I know is that it just seems the guy's almost 50 years old. I mean, come on, was he 46, 47 years old?
Could he beat Barrios?
blows and react with snap decisions when under duress. After a protracted hiatus, I was unaware when I returned. I had been out of the ring for 5 years. You have to get used to getting struck and to training that hard at that level. There are numerous things. It is more psychological and mental than physical. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Leonard stated,
Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios? Okay, if this was for a massive bag, I get it. But you're fighting for a non-pay-per-view event, so you're going to be fighting for free against a guy like Manny Pacquiao. Why? There are plenty of other fights to be making. But yet we're getting Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Is Manny Pacquiao even ready to fight in the ring? Why is he? I get he still loves the sport, but listen, you are an all-time great, a legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer.
he believes that Pacquiao confronts more than simply a cardio or muscle memory issue. Readjusting the mentality to what it is to be in conflict is the goal. Boo Boy Fernandez. Pacquiao's trainer and longtime friend had a straightforward response. To the naysayers, he doesn't think the battle should be defined by the numbers. Don't judge the number, judge the punch, he stated in a Fight Hype interview. The belief held by many in Pacquiao's closest circle is reflected in that line. They don't act like he's the same fighter he used to be. They just think that when employed properly, timing, reflexes, and power are sufficient. They are more interested in Pacquiao's ability to perform inside the ring than in his age.
Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and try his best. That's what Manny. One thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So yeah, he's going to give it his all.
Rolando Raleigh, the WBA regular welterweight champion, recently identified Pacquiao as a possible opponent, and Pacquiao hasn't wasted any time in reacting. Pacquiao responded to a question about it with a single word, who he made it apparent that he had not witnessed Romero's defeat against Ryan Garcia. No, I didn't notice it. Pacquiao didn't provide much more than that. He only gave a brief response before moving on. He didn't consider the concept or reject it completely.
Peace and blessings, y'all. In this corner, Boxing 24. Why is Manny Pacquiao being allowed to come back and go straight to the top to fight Mario Barrios when Boots is trying to get that belt off of him and Brian Norman Jr.? Man, politics of boxing.
It displayed a certain distance, which could indicate that Pacquiao isn't interested in Romero or that he doesn't think the fight is worthwhile. As a result, we might only see him engage in one bout. What do you think then? Please leave a comment below, and remember to like and subscribe for future updates.